Hi, I'm Louisa Sijabat. I'm a liquidator and bankruptcy trustee. A question I'm commonly asked is, what is the number one cause of business failure and liquidation? This is usually asked to me by people who are in business and want to avoid whatever it is that is causing businesses to end up in liquidation. Typically, I would say that the number one cause of business failure in small and medium businesses tends to relate to business owners or directors drawing out more money from the company than it can sustain. What do I mean by this? Sometimes directors or shareholders take fees or dividends or somehow otherwise draw out of the cash flow of the company more than that company's business is able to sustain. For example, in new companies and startups, the directors and shareholders might have come from the corporate world and might want to take a salary kind of like that they received in the corporate world. However, their business might be too new or too small to be able to financially sustain that kind of withdrawal from the cash flow cycle of the business. In other cases, businesses that do have some measure of success may start to see directors, for example, financing cars for their family members through the company. Now, this expense typically isn't related to the profit-making activities or cash flow generating activities of the company. And if that happens too often or too large a scale, that can drain cash from the working capital of the business and in extreme cases cause it to collapse. I have also seen in very large businesses that directors have had their spouses decide they want to start various businesses and funded them out of the cash flow of the existing company. In some cases, those businesses have turned out to be loss-making and cash flow draining and drained the original successful business to the extent that all the companies in the group have entered administration or liquidation. So that is something to watch. Something else which I see as a common thread is businesses that fail to put aside enough money for tax liabilities, PAYG withholding, superannuation, and commitments that aren't immediately payable, or even if they are immediately payable, nobody's actively chasing for payment of them. So make sure you put aside enough money for all of your company's liabilities, legal obligations, and debts, even if they don't have to be paid right away. Now, of course, there's plenty of other causes of business failure. These can include things like major customers not paying. In the construction industry, this may be head contractors who themselves might go into administration and liquidation and not pay subcontractors, resulting in extreme hardship for the companies who have done the work, the subbies or whoever the company who has done the work is, because now they're not getting paid and they have to still cover their own materials, costs, labor costs, which they've probably already paid out on. There are, of course, many other causes of failure. COVID-19 will be a big one this year and probably next year, possibly into the future beyond that as well as so many other things, partnership disputes, business owner disputes, family disputes, and just incorrect pricing structures of products, people inadvertently underquoting or sometimes intentionally underquoting just to try and win the work, but obviously a company can't sustain continued losses. I hope that's been somewhat helpful, and I hope there are some tips in there that help you run your business profitably and in a cash flow positive way.